Good evening. Tonight is Thursday, August 21st, 2025, and this is the monthly meeting of the Australian Shepherd Club of America Board of Directors. In attendance tonight, we have Skylar Jakar, Executive Secretary, Gary Scheidt, Donna Sims, Diana Williams, Tanya Johnson, Ann McCabe, David Clayton, Jan Wilson, Julian Ward, and myself, Susan Byrne. The item on the agenda up for discussion is affiliate late fee issues, and that topic belongs to Julian Ward. Julian? Julian, did we lose you?
No, I had the bar for recording was over my mute button, so I was struggling with it. Sorry about that. So I wanted to bring this topic forward to the board. As you know, we get on a fairly regular basis, we receive requests from affiliates for one-time exemptions for results that are turned in late, or more than that, more frequently than results being turned in late, is results being turned in without payment attached. I have had a couple of different clubs reach out to me about their frustration on this, so I wanted to bring it forward. And I know that the office staff likewise is frustrated because they're trying to just get their job done in a timely fashion to get those results posted. It seems like I know that the board about a year and a half ago approved basically stiffer sanctions for the per day when things are turned in late. Part of the issue that I'm hearing from the clubs is they're frustrated, the kind of the learning curve between, we have a lot of folks that have been volunteering for decades and decades and decades, and they are accustomed to the triplicates and doing everything in print. They're accustomed to filling out the gross receipts and putting their credit card number in writing, which we know is not legal to do any longer. And so while we are trying to become more automated and more, flexible within ASCA, we still have a generation of people that we are frustrating, and I think it's just inadvertently. So I wanted to ask the board if you would entertain the idea of a couple of things. For the people that like to mail their results in, I'll give you an example of a club that mailed their results in within 6 days of their event. They had it postmarked. However, it took 10 days to get to the business office, and that does happen. We do have a lot of problems with the mail. I know nationwide, but in particular, the business office has regular problems with mail delivery in their area. So 10 days after this is postmarked and mailed, there is an email that's sent from the business office saying, hey, we got your results, but you didn't include payment. So now essentially you're being sanctioned because of that. Everybody's trying to do their job and they think they're doing their job. But we have frustrated parties on both sides. So I am asking the board if they would be willing to entertain the idea for people who still want to not go on and submit their results through the website. What if we were to attach a similar to what we used to do for credit card? They used to be able to fill in their credit card information and then mail it along, and then the business office would charge it. We're not able to do that anymore. We're not really allowed to do it anymore. What if we were to entertain the idea of them filling that out, saying, please send us a link or please bill us? Would that be something that the board would be willing to entertain? Or maybe, my point is, can we acknowledge that there's a problem on both sides and try to come up with a solution? That's just one example. I'm sure you all can think of something or other things much better, as well as maybe revisiting the timeline a little bit. I know 2 weeks sounds like a long time, but we need to recognize that these are all volunteers. And when they're exhausted after the event, I don't think it's necessarily their first thing on their minds. So I would just like to throw that out as an option. I think for me, not getting your results in a timely manner is one thing. So if they don't even make that effort, that's one thing. But if they make the effort and they get their stuff in a timely manner, and they're accustomed to being able to write their credit card information down, and that's a new thing for them, could we give them an aid of some sort that says, fill this out? Yes, when we get your packet, we'll acknowledge it. We will send you an invoice. You can send an invoice through QuickBooks, or maybe there's a link. I've seen some of the gals send links for payment. And then there would be a due date on that. I would like to solve this problem instead of, I feel like we're pitting everybody against each other. And it's frustrating. And some of these clubs are struggling just to get volunteers. They're struggling just to get entries. And I think we're in a time in our lives that we need to maybe try to figure out how to help one another instead of just slapping sanctions. And I know that sounds contrary to how I would normally handle this, but I'm seeing this problem over and over again. And as I have endeavored to communicate with the affiliates lately, this is a big source of frustration to them. So I would like to hear the board's feedback and to find out if you guys have other ideas, or if you're willing to entertain something to let's try to come up with a solution instead of, it's not working because we have so many people frustrated. So maybe there's another solution.
Okay. Does anyone have anything they would like to suggest in this situation? Okay. Since we know this is an issue, I think it might be best, now that you have made the entire board aware of the situation, that we put this, everybody needs to consider a potential solution. And we need to, I don't want to kick the can, but I almost think that we should, to give everybody an opportunity to really seriously consider what some viable options may be, and also an opportunity for the business office to weigh in on what they see a potential, outcome may be, and how can both hands benefit each other. Instead of just us making the decision, I think it would be very beneficial to get the weigh-in. We seem to have it from some of the affiliate clubs, but I think it would be really interesting to get the weigh-in from the business office. Does anyone have a suggestion on this topic?
I was thinking that one of the things that Jillian has been working to do is to get a better communication between affiliates and the board, and to set up Zoom meetings, various meetings throughout the year with affiliates. And this is obviously something which would be a very good topic to bring up at the affiliate meeting at Nationals. But I think hearing from the affiliates what they need, what they would like from us, ASCA, the business office. And I agree with Jillian. It has been a problem. We get situations all the time. So I think that if Jillian has been working on this, and I would be happy to work on it to try to be that bridge, be that support for the affiliates, to find out what they need so they can be successful within the requirements that we have. And sure, I mean, I would give them weeks to turn it in, but it's the exhibitors who want the results. And I think getting that communication out there between the exhibitors and the clubs and the business office is what we need to strive for. So absolutely, it should be a topic at the affiliate meeting at Nationals, and I am happy to help and facilitate because I have myself done numerous results for agility, obedience, rally, stock dog, and it's a good discussion, and it's something that I think we can discuss more, and I want to help, and I hope we can help our affiliates. Thanks.
This
Thank
is
you, Ann.
Diana. Sorry.
Go ahead.
As to, I agree with Jill, and I agree with you, Ann. I agree, but when we go to the business office, I think procedurally, we just need to talk to the office manager about a proposed plan. We need to go ahead and set out the plan, not really let them initiate the plan, but set it out, our thoughts, for them to review it to see if it's possible, see if it's something that they're amenable to. And I think this is just changing a procedural matter, and I think it could be done very easily. I mean, there are ways to send the affiliates an invoice. We have it on QuickBooks already, and then we also have it through the authorized.net. So they do that all the time at the office, especially when somebody underpays, they'll send them a little link and say, you owe this much money. So that's not a hard thing to do for the office, and it's very easy to send that link. Mail does get lost. It gets set aside, and that's why with Nationals entries, we go by the post date number. So we could do the same thing, go by the affiliate's post date number and not penalize them if it comes in later than that. And I think we can push out. I think if we push it out too much, people will take advantage of it, of the push out date. I mean, I could see pushing it out a little bit, but maybe making it easier for them, making it not so difficult is what I would be for. That was all.
Thank you. So in my conversation with the business office staff last Friday, we did address this issue, and they all agreed that they would be able to add a link to their communications with the clubs, which will go back to the trial secretary / show secretary, making them aware of, just kind of a reminder. Hey, if you haven't, like 7 days after the show, if you've not submitted your results for this show and payment, it is due. And to do that at 7 days and 14 days electronic, they would still do within 15 days after the show results in time. And just that gentle reminder to, kind of push them just a little bit. They do go by the postmark date. The problem that has arisen is, as Jill identified, the results may be there, but if we go back and look at the policy that we changed about 2 years ago, I'm not going to put a specific date on that, but it was changed to where the results must be complete. If they're missing payment, those are not complete. So that's what we need to work on more, is that portion of it. And if there's a way that maybe we can assign a link when the documents for that show are actually sent to the trial secretary, that may be the biggest benefit there. And also remember, a paper check always works. So even if the results are not received in the office for 15 days after the show, as long as they're postmarked and that there's a check in there, that's still perfectly acceptable tender for payment. So let's continue to work on that. I believe, I agree that the affiliate club meeting will be a really good place to glean more information from the affiliates to see how they can give their input to see how it might benefit them, and that we can work together on this situation. Thank you, Jill.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the July 2025 Treasurer's Report, and that will be Diana. Diana, are you muted? I think
Oh
you,
gosh,
Diana,
now I
you
got
must be muted. Thank you.
now I got to repeat myself, don't I? Anyway, thank you guys for waiting. I apologize for the reports being sent to you late today, but we were in probably about 5 redos of the P&L today because, bless her heart, we have a new bookkeeper and she's done very well. And she's not a dog person, so sometimes I forget that these different categories and chart of accounts where they make sense to me don't always make sense to a new person that's just come in. So she's 2 months in now, and she's done a very good job. We have a couple more things to look at today. I've already moved one item tonight on the books that was in the wrong place and put it up in the IT labor. But considering it started out as a negative 5,000 earlier today and then went to a negative 50,000, now we're at a positive $8,976.88 for the month. So we gained some traction there and ended up a little bit better than I thought because our labor was higher, our payroll was higher, because this particular month we had 3 Fridays. So I think that happens twice in a year, where when you're paid every 2 weeks, you get an extra paycheck. I know I used to look forward to that when I got my extra paycheck. And then, so we're better this month in July than I thought we were going to be. So that's all on that. Let me switch screens and I will get to the cash on hand. Okay, so let me move this over. In our operating account, we have $153,956, a little bit down from last month, but not much. We're still holding that $100 wire account, and that's really a non-use account. It's just for when we have to use it for overseas or something comes up and then we need that account. The savings account is 82,590.97. The AEMD is at 9,677. So the AEMD, let me look at my notes real quick, and you'll see it down when I talk about the Vanguard investment account. We transferred out of Vanguard 41,000 into the AEMD account, and then we sent out to the Nationals account $66,252 for AEMD funds for the time period from June 1 of 2024 through May 31 of 2025. So now that account has been pretty depleted at this point. We still have money in, well, we don't. We only have $161 down in the Vanguard account. So we'll have to work at bringing that back up, and I'm sure we will. The foundation account is $72,450. The 26 Nationals account is at $8,000. They had their first set of expenses for traveling to Colorado for a site visit. I have to look to see if all checks were issued for that. Then we have our Vanguard savings account is at $169,843. Our AEMD account is down to $161.99. And yay, I want to hear the drum roll, please, because I successfully put $1,000 into the foundation account so that I can now transfer money into that account. We've tried this 3 or 4 times. The last time it was a Chase problem. Chase thought it was fraud. So we had to get that cleared, had to sign the paperwork again. And it's just been a never-ending saga of getting an account hooked to the foundation account. So with the Vanguard investment accounts and the cash on hand, we're at $498,834. So we're not much less than last month because most of that is accounted for with the moving of the AEMD funds. Don't expect any large expenditures for the month of August. It should be a pretty normal month for the month of August. So the cash in September, when we get to nationals, we'll have that updated by then. I don't think I have any other questions. I'm looking at my notes here to tell you. So it's pretty straightforward. Do we have any questions? Okay, then I will make a motion that we approve the July financials.
I second.
Okay,
Is it any further discussion on the financials for the month of July? All those in favor of approving the treasurer's report as presented?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions?
I guess I should abstain.
Thank you. Okay, that takes care of that item. And that brings us to the last item on the agenda for this evening, and that's the ratification of the email business for the month of July. And any director may make a motion to approve that.
I make a motion to approve last month's email business. Sam.
Thank you, Anne.
I'll second that. This
Second.
is Donna.
Thank you, Donna. All those in favor of approving the previous month, which would be the month of July 2025, the email business, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Thank you, guys. That motion carries. Okay, that brings us to the close of tonight's meeting. I want to thank everyone, all of our members, for listening. I want to thank my board of directors for their attentiveness and for their dedication to this organization. Everybody will reconvene in 4 weeks in Winnemucca. During this time, everybody continue to stay safe and cool and be very safe on all your travels. And we will be in touch at that point. Thank you so very much and have a good evening.
Good night.
Aye.
Good night.
Good
Thank
night.
you all.
Thank you.
Night.